Hey guys, this is Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge. Welcome to Fixed Blade Friday. We've got a Sanrenmu knife today, or Sanrenmu. This is a sort of a Persian style blade, full-tang, G10 handle scales, a little bit of a forward choil right there, kind of knife. Stainless steel, a nice budget stainless steel 8CR13 MOV, which is a reasonable budget steel in my opinion. And I think this is a cool knife. Ever since I did the unboxing of this thing, when I first saw it, it looks better in person than the pictures represent it. The only place I can find this is at AliExpress and DHgate and eBay. And they're all way overpriced compared to AliExpress. AliExpress, I'll give you a link for it to the same store where I bought mine. And I just haven't found it anywhere else online. So if you want to get one of these, there were 2 stores on AliExpress. One store is totally sold out, and the store that I bought it from still has some. So, without further ado, we're going to take a good look at this fixed blade coming at you right now. So, first thing we'll take a look at is this sheath. So, I'll set this aside. We've got a pretty good sheath here. Some websites I've seen it said this is Kydex. No, it's plastic. It's a decent ABS kind of plastic. It got some little grippy, jimpy kind of sections on the outside of it in a few places. There is a hole down here at the bottom, so it does drain water if water gets in there, if you're wearing it outside during a rain or something. And then we've got this man-made material. It's not leather, but it's supposed to be like leather for the strap. That's for your belt loop right there. And then you've got a nice snap to hold the knife in place when it's in there. You've got some retention in here. There's a couple little sections that are designed to grab. It's actually designed to grab right on the screw because the screws extend over the outside of the handle just a little bit. And it grabs in there nice and tight. You heard that click going in there. It's in there snug as a rug. Well, this is what's making noise right now. But I wanted to show you that it's snug, even without this, But you add this on here, now you've got extra retention, and it's perfect. This is not coming out. I mean, you could wear this as a neck knife, hang it upside down, like if you're a really big guy and you want something this size around your neck. And I think it's not going to fall out. Now, over time, since it is, plastic material, it will start to, wear a little bit, and the fit will get a little bit looser, over a lot of time. So I'm not recommending that for the long term. This is riveted on, so you've got this belt loop here on there permanently. Well, you could remove it if you wanted to, but if you remove it, you're not going to be able to get it back on. That's the point I want to make about that. You've got some holes here. They're not a standard distance apart like for a Tech-Lock or Tech-Lock type kind of mounting. Not that I mind, because I'd much rather have this kind of belt loop system than that Tech-Lock kind of system. Main reason for that is my belt is here, which means most of this knife is down lower on my side instead of being way up high on my hip. So that's enough about the sheath. It's a good sheath. I like it. Nothing bad to say about it. Is it a budget sheath? Yes, it is. And it's a good budget sheath. The knife here, we've got 8CR13 MOV steel. Some websites say 8CR14, but on the knife itself, they've printed 8CR13, so that's what I'm going with. Model number is right here, S755-4. Now that's kind of strange because I've only ever seen any pictures of it, and I've looked all over the place of it in this orange and in black. And so if this orange is number 4, there's 3 other colors. Black is only 1 color. So maybe there's other colors out there. Maybe they're planning other colors, but they haven't released them. They'll see how these go. I don't know. Manufacturer date on this knife was October 2018, so 4 months ago. And so it is a fairly newish knife. We've got a nice wedge all the way across the top of this upswept Persian blade. Nice long belly here. A little bit of a recurve, not much at all. Yeah, almost anybody can sharpen this. If you can sharpen a knife, you can sharpen this. And if you really don't like recurves, just sharpen on this spot for a little while and you'll bring it up and then you'll have a straight edge. You'll get rid of the recurve. That won't take much at all. For the first time that I've seen on from Sanrenmu knives, there's a diagram out of this knife. I think it's on this angle like this. And it shows that this angle here is 60 degrees. Now I think that's less than 60 degrees. I think that's 30. So I think they mean it's 6 degrees on the outside of that. Not sure. But you've got a nice tip here for piercing anything. It's the blade's got sort of a rounded spine, very rounded back here, all over. Let's move this out of the way. There we go. So all the edges are nicely rounded, very, very comfortable. Just a little bit of big jimping back here. And then some fine jimping here by the thumb rest. And the flat of the blade, not very big. So you got a high flat grind, so that's a saber grind. Very, very comfortable. Forward choil is a bit odd. It's a little bit small if you want to get your finger in there. And I can fit my finger in here, my index finger, just barely if I don't go too deep. But I've got a very sharp corner right there. And I've nicked myself a couple of times on my left hand and on my right hand when I put my hand in here, my finger in there, because it's just that snug. So that's not that great. So what I might be doing is I might actually do that as well. Take this recurve off and then just knock that corner off as well so it's not sharp. You know, have the edge sharp but not have the corner sharp. And that'll make it a fair bit safer to use to sneak up like this. For somebody who doesn't want to ever sneak up, you know, just leave it the way it is and you're fine. We've got this notch right here. I guess you could find your own 101 different uses for that notch. It's not comfortable to put your hand over here and put any pressure on it with your thumb. That's not good. So maybe it's a notch designed for carrying things. Like some bushcrafting knives have got little notches like this, and it's designed to pick up a bucket off of a fire, a pail or something, a pot, something that's got a wire handle, a loop, and then it just balances in there, and that way it doesn't fall, and you've got something you can grab to pick up something hot. A very quick reenactment. Imagine this is a fire, and you've got your pot of whatever you're cooking over the fire. They're all metal. You don't want to grab it like this. You'll burn yourself. So you grab it like this. And it's a very safe way to carry it. It balances automatically. Great handle. Nice little spot to lift something up. Maybe it's just decorative. You know, it looks pretty good. Just don't put your thumb up on there. Your choil here for your index finger is big. Fits very comfortably in there. Nice and large. The balance point on this knife, it's always going to want to roll this way, so I'll have to just do that for you. It's right at the back end of that choil. So right there. Like that would be the middle of the choil. The balance point is right there on the middle of my finger. You've got a little bit of milling right here, this sort of Zorro-esque, Z mark on there, back and forth. That actually does help with more grip on both sides. Very comfortable. A little bit of a notch right there, so it's great for doing that pinch kind of grip. If you're just wanting to pinch right here, that's really good. And you can move up more forward, and then your thumb, the higher part of your thumb rests in there. And so it's a nice touch here. They've done a few really good things that way. Reverse grip, very comfortable because they knocked over this edge. And this kind of reverse is also good. Every grip that you want to do is quite comfortable on this knife. Back here, you've got the lanyard hole. So you fish the lanyard through there. Very nice. We've got torque screws here. You can take the handle scales off easily. No problem at all. I think I've got I know I've got some still pictures, but I might have some video of it taken apart so you can see the skeletonizing out there so that the balance point is right. I'll show that right now. For some people, this handle is going to be too thick. And you can take this all apart and then just put a piece of sandpaper on something flat, lay it down with the grit side up, and then you take these handle scales and you can slide them back and forth, make it S pattern or whatever, to just keep it perfectly flat. And you could take off, at least 1 millimeter on each side, maybe a total of 1/8 of an inch worth, maybe, like 3 millimeters worth, 1.5 millimeters on each of these scales. And this would still be able to tighten down. And if not, you can always shorten these screws a little bit. The female screw, you could probably shorten it up just a little bit with a file or whatever, and that would still work if you need to make this a little bit thinner. Because right now, I think somebody with small hands, some females might find this, with small hands, might find this a little bit too big because it is bigger than the average. But it's a very, very comfortable knife. You've got your Sanrenmu logo there, and I've talked about all of that stuff. So let us get ready to do the dimensions and all that stuff. Okay, the first thing I'd like to say is the stainless steel runs in at a Rockwell hardness of around 57, 58, which is quite good, especially for a budget steel. And the length of it, the length of the blade, the tip to the choil right here, if I drew a straight line, it's almost exactly 10 centimeters, 3.94 inches. So basically, we've got a 4-inch cutting edge. The blade length, so the tip to the closest spot on the G10 is 9.73 centimeters, 3.83 inches. That's great. The thickness of the blade here is 3.5 millimeters. That's 0.138 inches. The blade depth, its biggest right about here, because it keeps getting more narrow as it goes, 2.86 centimeters, 1.125 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind is 0.54 millimeters. That's 0.0215 inches. So very good thickness behind the grind. The grind angle, Sanrenmu keeps knocking it out of the park. The grind angle on this side, this is the side that has the model number, 18.4 degrees, and that's measured right where my finger is right now. And on this side, 20.2 degrees. Very, very good. Again, because of dominance of hand, one side has one angle, the other side's got a different angle. That's just the way it is. I wish it was better, but at least these guys got a pretty good angle. The difference is 1.8 degrees from one side to another, so not bad. When I go to sharpen this knife, I would keep it at 20 degrees per side because it's a budget steel and it just needs that little extra strength behind that cutting edge. Let's talk about the handle length. The specs here, 12.17 centimeters, which is 4.79 inches, 4.8 inch handle basically. The handle thickness is 1.56 centimeters, which is 0.615 inches. And again, most people like about 1/2 inch handles. This is 0.615. So that's why I talked about making it just a little bit thinner for some people. The handle depth, that's this dimension right here, 2.9 centimeters, 1.34 inches. The grip area, so between my thumbs, 9.9 centimeters, 3.9 inches. The total length of this knife from tip to the end of the handle scale right here is 21.8 centimeters, which is 8.59 inches. Not bad at all for, just over 8.5 inch knife to have a 4-inch cutting edge. Not bad. Factory sharpness of this edge. Oh, this knife has got a sharp edge. It rated 145 grams of pressure to cut through the filament of my testing equipment. I'm not sure, but I think that's the best spec I've had from a factory edge yet. Mind you, I've only tested about 7 or 8 knives yet. So that's great. The weight of this knife is 160 grams, 5.65 ounces. You add in the sheath, it's 215 grams, 7.6 ounces. So basically 7.5 ounces for the whole thing together. A 4-inch blade sitting in your pocket with a sturdy handle. That's a very good weight to ratio of what you got. Great blade to handle length ratio. It's just a beautiful knife. And it's actually quite functional. It's great for piercing. You could use it for skinning for animals. It's a great slicing knife because of the high flat grind. A little bit of a recurve helps cut all kinds of stuff too. And like I said, you can grip it any which way you want. How much are you going to have to pay for this thing? Well, because it's only on places like AliExpress and things, the price does go up a little bit. AliExpress has this for $36.90 US. I like it. I really like it. I do hope they come out with other colors. I hope they come out with a black wash blade on a black handle. That'd be nice. You know, all kinds of different ways of getting this thing. It's a very comfortable knife. Special features are, you know, this nice lanyard hole back here. Very functional. It does work. It's easy to put paracord through there. Very comfortable handle. The, I guess, pot holder, if you will, the carrier here. I like that touch. It's actually a really good touch there. The recurve, it's not so big that it's hard to handle. People who don't like recurve blades, you'll still be able to sharpen this, I believe, without much of a challenge at all. It's got a good weight to size ratio. It's very comfortable, even in extra large hands, medium men's hands. People with smaller than that hands, you know, you might want to do a modification to the handle a little bit, which isn't that hard to do. And I wish I could find a place where there's more of these color options. It's a good knife. What are the cons on it? Well, like I said, the handle thickness might be a little big for some people, but that can be fixed. This forward choil, I don't like it the way it is. I have to do something about this. I'm going to change this. Even if I was to give this knife away or sell it or anything, I just feel like I need to take off that corner to make this edge safer. So I'm going to be adjusting that before, when I sharpen the knife for the first time. I'm going to fix this edge right here so that it's better. But the other con is these pivot screws, they're free spinning. So again, you have to put it on a system that holds it so that you can unscrew at the same time. Because if you just put this on a table and, you know, even if you're doing this, you leave it in the sheath and you know, there's no chance of getting cut by the blade, you still have it slip over and you stab yourself, you know, with the screwdriver. Like if you just leave it like this, try to balance it. So it's not safe. It's so easy to make these things not free spinning. Sanrenmu has done it before, you know, just a little D-shaped hole with the side of this bolt, you know, taken off a little bit and then it won't spin. Easy to do. They just need to actually do it. So what else do you guys want to know about this knife? I think it's a really good knife, a really good buy. I wish they'd make it with some D2 steel. That would be really nice because the marketplace wants D2 right now. They've been wanting it for years. It's an old steel. That's a really good steel. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you let my commercials play, my advertising play on these videos, that does help me out. Thank you so much for doing that, guys. And thanks for using my links when you make your purchases. Down below, I've got Amazon links. I've got an influencer page for Amazon US, Amazon Canada, and Amazon UK, and I'll try to get those same kind of pages for the other Amazon sites that I'm affiliated with for France, Italy, Japan, Spain, Australia. If you use those influencer links, it does help out my channel an awful lot. Remember, guys, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb. How, wow, 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 wow. That could hurt. Just like it hurt when I cut myself here a little over a year ago. My nerves still sometimes give me a bit of a shock when I touch something right there. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Are you still here? Click on something else.